had to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning to write the breakfast news, write and read the breakfast news for 2KR.
So what would you do on the road? What would your activities involve?
When I was on the road, they were the days before we had sound on the news stories. So we had to go out, and of course the news film used to cost an astronomical amount, and they were on 100-foot spools, and we had to fit 3 stories onto the 100-foot spools for the day. We'd go out and shoot them, they'd come back, they'd be processed and edited, and then I'd have to write the script for each of the stories I'd covered that day. And then we moved into, we had one sound camera, and it was very iffy, so we'd use the sound camera on Monday, be back in the workshop for Tuesday, we'd use it on Wednesday, be back in the workshop on Thursday, and we'd use it on Friday. That's how unreliable it was.
So what sort of stories would you cover, or do you have like a favourite story that you...
Well, the 2 biggest stories I covered was the crash of a fighter jet plane at the junction, which was only about 2-3 kilometres away from NBN Studio. It happened in those days, it was 1966. In those days we used to send a crew to Parliament House in Canberra for the budget. Of course the only sound camera had gone with that crew to Canberra, and then also in those days all our stories had to be what they call put to bed by 5:30, leaving only one person behind to put the news to air at 6 o'clock. Of course I was sitting there about 20 to 6 twiddling my thumbs. I got this phone call from a cameraman's wife wanting to know where her husband was, and I said, we were being very cagey, so what do you want him for? And she said, where is he? And I said, what do you want him for? And then she said, a jet plane has just crashed at the junction. And I said, come on, you're pulling my leg. She said, no, I'm fair dinkum. So I had to tell him, where I thought he would be, down the pub. And anyway, about 3-5 minutes after that, a couple of the people who worked at NBN, they came rushing in with parts of this plane that crashed at the junction. So we didn't have much vision to go to air at 6 o'clock. So I lined all the bits of debris up along the news desk, and I got the announcer to say, a jet fighter has just crashed to the junction. Here's some of the wreckage.
Yep.
So you had to, use your imagination when you didn't have anything to...
like quick thinking.
Quick thinking,
yeah.
That's right. That's what all journalists have to do, or all good journalists do. Being able to think for themselves on the spot and say, hey, where's the story, or what's the angle of the story, and away you go.
Okay.
Then after that, I became a what they call a news producer. Produced the news each night. And this particular occasion, that when I was being appointed to the job or promoted to the job, I lined all the crews up. By this time we had about 4 crews on the road with sound cameras. So I lined them up and said, this is my big chance, and I said, you're going to make it a really splash tonight. Get out there and get each of you on a top story. And anyway, one fellow radioed me from Cessnock. He said, I've got the lead story for you. He said, and a coal mine has just blown up and it's on fire. And I had to say, sorry. I said, they've just sacked the